This is like, are we rolling, Jamie? So today we have what do we figure it? Episode 8?
8.
Episode 8 with the PJF podcast. This is going to be a little bit different one. This was a Conley recommendation. I like switching up a lot. I think listening to the mainstream podcasts, I feel like I get a lot of the same messages over and over again. So I just switching gears, listening to like PJF. It's a basketball trainer for the NBA basketball trainer. What's his name here? I don't know his name off the top of my head. But I liked it, so I recommended it. I gave it a
Paul Fabrice.
Paul. Yeah, it's Paul. I gave it a 78 rating, and we're actually going to do 2 of his episodes, 57 and 56, because I might have listened to the wrong one the second time. What ratings do you have, Sterling?
I do like listening to random podcasts, but I hated this one. I thought it was a 25. I don't like the guy. He comes off like he just like sets off alarms in my head, and then I was just bored. I gotta be honest with you. And the funny thing is, I should like it, right? I love basketball. He's kind of science based.
Very much so, science based. Yeah.
He's right up my alley, and I don't know. I don't like him. He gives me bad vibes.
What was an alarm that was set off?
So there's 2, right? One, he talks like he's a teenager. He's in his mid-30s, is what he said, and he talks like a teenager, which just drives me nuts. The other one is if you start and end your podcast, or if you have an internet class in general that you're selling, it's like a red flag. Like, for me, if you have this secret that's worth so much money, then why are you selling it? Like, just become an NBA player. You know?
Well, I think he's about 5'10", and his background is he couldn't touch the rim in high school, and so when he got out of high school, he just grinded on the science of jumping, and so he started with pure performance,
which is cool.
And then he started training better athletes, because he got absurdly athletic, and then he got into actual skills. I think that's like the last year or 2 he got into the actual skills part of basketball. I'm gonna go to bat for him. I'll defend him.
You're gonna need to, or this could be a really short podcast.
I don't understand how. I mean, it's not like he's doing a pyramid scheme. He's teaching skills. An online class that has drills in it. Why is that?
It's a red flag. I don't know. In general, people that have internet classes are a bit scammy to me. And I'm not saying it's a scam. Just in general, if I had to paint internet classes with a broad brush, I would say most of them are scams.
But if this one doesn't fall under a scam, then why are you classifying him as a scam?
We don't know that. I don't know what it's in this program. I would say statistically, probably more of a scam. And scam might be the wrong word, but like,
whatever.
I'll teach you how to flip houses and you'll be a millionaire in 9 months.
Yeah, that's not what it is.
But those people did it. I
think that's an inappropriate comparison. It's whatever.
I'm not saying my, what do you call it, stereotype is 100% accurate. But
so, anyways, we'll get into it. One of the things that really caught my attention was he was talking about mirror neurons, and basically how I understood it was, when people are just naturals at basketball. He was explaining they have mirror neurons, which is like you're very easily able to mimic what moves people make and stuff. And I think this is first of all, I think it's accurate, Sterling. And then I also think it's something you can train. Like the term natural implies that like you're born with it, right? I think you can have it a little bit naturally, but you can definitely like teach yourself to be a natural. If you're around basketball all the time, if you're always trying to do moves, like that's how you become a natural. And so I thought it was kind of he was kind of spot on when he was talking about it.
I like this. It's like we're arguing. So I agreed with that point. I think there aren't really naturals. You kind of just have done more around that kind of area of expertise, which like contradicts his very first statement, which is, it's not all about reps. I do think it's all about reps. There's different reps, which he talked about, but if you want to be a natural at something, start it from a young age and try everything about it.
Yeah, I think you're misinterpreting what he was saying. So, an example I have is when I was probably middle school freshman year, I would get dropped off at the Y and I'd go play basketball for like 2 hours or whatever. And before, like when I first dropped off, there's no one there. So for the first hour, it was just me. And there's always this one other kid. He was a year older than me from a different school, and he was always in there. He was getting in reps that whole hour, but he was moving at half speed, and he never got better. I mean, he might have got marginally better, but he was never going to be good because when he was in the gym by himself practicing, getting in reps, his reps sucked.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you. Some reps are better than others, but I still think the equation to success is a lot of reps. Like, there's no magical rep that you only have to do 10 times because it's so perfect. You still got to crank them out. Like
Yes.
that 10,000 hour rule is still, I think it's still a good rule.
I agree. And I think he would agree. I agree. The 10,000 hour rule still seems like a great rule. But I think the point he was trying to get is you can be more efficient becoming a master, becoming really good at these things by focusing on having the best reps.
Yeah, that's fair.
That's my takeaway from it.
That's fair. I like just game reps, right? When I was coaching Max's team last year, is all just, what are we doing for practice? We're doing real life game reps. Practice inbounding the ball, practice rebounding. Just throw the ball up there, and just no fancy drill. Just throw the ball up there and see who gets it, type of stuff.
Yeah. Did you? I haven't told you. I'm coaching a 6th grade basketball team this winter.
Nice. That's cool.
Yeah. So it'll be interesting. I've never coached a team.
What made you do that?
So it's Corinne's little brother's team, and they didn't have a coach.
Oh, cool.
So it's
6th
like,
grade. How old is that?
I don't know
Like
ages.
12? No.
I know freshman year you're about 15, so minus 3, 13,
That's
12.
close.
Yeah, 12, 13.
13.
So this will be interesting.
Is it a rec league?
Nope, it's a school team.
You're coaching a school team? Wow.
Yeah, they needed a coach stepping up to the plate.
I thought you had to be like qualified and teach at the school.
No,
No?
man, they don't. Well, so this is
You want
This
to
is a
teach? Come on in.
this is a private.
Oh, it's private? Okay.
Yeah, they don't pay their coaches. They're all volunteers. Be interesting. The next thing. Well, I thought you would like it because you have kids and you're obviously going to be very focused on developing them. But I thought my takeaway, which is probably repeating it, is just on air moves. Like when you're watching a game and you just,
Yeah.
it's like, that was sick, Max.
Yeah.
Go do that right here, you know?
Yeah.
It's like,
I love that.
and then I started thinking, I was like, would it be more beneficial? Like, so when we grew up, we had a game room that had TVs and like a mini basketball court in it. It's like, is it more beneficial to get like on air reps where you're just purely imagining it, or like you just step over to the side and then actually do it on the hoop?
I don't know. No, it's better on a hoop.
You think so?
But you got to get so like I'll walk around the house doing Euro steps still. It's just kind of stuck.
Dang,
But
bro, you must not be doing deliberate reps.
you got to get the footwork down first and then take it out to the hoop and then try it on, pickup game and then try it in a real game. There's kind of a step-by-step thing there. But I like, he talked about trying all the moves once. I actually do really like that idea. Um, it's kind of funny that the nerd in me is like, when we played Battle Royale, I always liked to be in every hero at least once, so I understood him. I think it's good for both, like becoming a natural, like he talked about, but also if you understand them all, it'll help you on defense too, right? It'll help you just all around.
Yeah, and it's fun.
It is fun.
Yeah, I always enjoy that, the on-air reps, and then getting to the mini hoop and doing stupid moves. Yeah, I think that's more where like reps are good just in bulk, like when you're messing around the hoop trying to get moves in. That was so growing up, our dad, he never really liked me messing around. So like one of the things he said, which I don't know, I'm still up in the air about. He tried to get me. He said, "I want you to, whenever you step across the line on a basketball court, no matter what court it is, to not joke around, like to be serious, or like to not, yeah, to not joke around." And at the time, it was like we're at the LA Fitness, and I was just kind of like going there to shoot around a little bit, and I wasn't like intense practice. And he was telling me that, and I didn't. I was like, no, like I'm just gonna have fun today and just mess around. And I kind of gone back and forth on whether that'd be a good idea or not. I kind of think it's not. It's too strict. Like you gotta be able to mess around. But if you did take that approach, would you end up in a better place?
To me, it's more the balanced middle ground is usually better. It might work for like MJ and Kobe, like the 0.0001%, but I don't think it works for most people.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe.
Did you like? I like Kyrie's line where he's like telling the kid that you see all my makes. When the kid asked him about how he got so good at his left hand, you see all my makes, but you don't see all the air balls in practice.
Mhm.
That's the hardest thing to get little kids to understand. Because Max will go out there and he'll try a new move and he'll miss it, and he'll try it again and he'll miss it, and then he'll quit. He won't. He'll want to do something else. I'm shooting now. It's very hard for them to, kind of comprehend that every time you miss, you're getting better. Oddly enough, especially when you're trying new things.
Yeah, as long as you're learning from your misses, right? I thought it was interesting. I mean, he's an NBA trainer, so he's probably got to be nice to NBA players. But I've never heard anyone like report a good social situation with Kyrie.
Oh, I love Kyrie.
He's portrayed as such like a, a bad person for the locker room.
Well, in Boston, he won it out, right? And they all knew it, and that is toxic. I don't know what else there is to do about it. I think he's fine. He's a little nutty, but whenever someone gets labeled as a nut, that's really good at something. I tend to root for him because I think that that's how they get everyone to stay in line. Like if you have any different opinion, oh, he's a nutcase. He's a
Yeah.
conspiracy theorist. That label is almost like it's an anti warning to me, because it means you had the balls to at least say something different.
Yeah, I mean, he was a big non-vaxxer early on.
You mean he was a correct person?
Yeah, I mean, obviously I don't know to say it or not, but we were both in that boat.
I mean, the science has proven him right.
Yeah,
Hey, for those that believe the science, right?
seems like
You can't even argue it anymore. Unless you were 80 years old and in poor health and probably overweight, it was a bad risk reward decision. They don't even argue it anymore. They don't like to talk about it, but
so
they're not labeling him a nutcase anymore.
they still try to label him a nutcase. I feel like,
Kyrie,
yeah,
I haven't heard it recently, especially after the championship run. I mean, they didn't win, but they got all the way there.
So the other thing in the episode 57, the main thing that he was talking about was workload spikes. I guess this is the note I had about dad saying to have like my game face when I step on the court with workload spikes. This thing is if you are not playing, you shouldn't be playing. I think this can be taken out of context. I don't think it's for kids. I think it's more for like competitive people. And the reason he was explaining it was for entering like any level of flow state. He explained it as to enter flow state, it's mainly a competition thing, at least how he sees it. And when you have your competitive juices, he called it a cocktail of adrenaline, dopamine, and cortisol. You're going to be better on the court, skill wise, but it's going to be safer for you because you're going to have quicker reactions. You're going to make better decisions on the court. And I don't know, as going into a washed up basketball player, I feel that like there's a couple of times where I would play basketball in the morning and I didn't feel like going, I'd go. And I feel like those were the mornings I got hurt. But I'm also the one like,
yeah, you're a glass cannon.
but I'm also like going full speed into the lane, and I don't really have a sound or slow game.
So Bill Simmons threw this idea out there, and I really liked it. He said the NBA is now a 1 foot game, where it used to be a 2 foot game, and you definitely have a 1 foot game.
Yeah, that's a good way to think about it.
I find more people get hurt in like the last 10 minutes of that hour and a half run, where everyone's tired and you get a little lazy and you only take a half step instead of a full step, and your movements are a little different. I think that's more of the injury thing in my experience. And that's kind of like it goes back to Dad's thing. It's like the last 10 minutes, no one's playing defense. It's like just a fast break fest, and people get lax and people lose focus. I think it would help you there to be, in the zone those last 10 minutes, or just quit, because I think that's where a lot of the big injuries happen.
Yeah, I agree. And then you can't really leave because everyone will get mad if you're the 10th player and you leave.
Well, then I just play defense. I play defense, I get the rebound, and I pass up the floor. Did you see Jokic's? So there's 0.3 seconds left, full court, throw it in. He said, throw it up. And he hit it, and it almost went in, full court.
Oh, really? No, I didn't see that.
Talk about being a natural. That dude has tried every move. I guarantee it.
Did you imagine being that strong just to be able to hook it full?
Oh my gosh. And that skilled. I mean, that's a volleyball move. He's awesome. So
Go ahead.
a lot of the best players in the NBA right now are pros kids, right? Steph, Kyrie, Clay. There's a big percentage of the players right now that are pros kids, essentially because they had access to everything. Their parents were super tall. I mean, you have the stats in your favor. But like, if this program isn't a scam and it's really good, I was kind of thinking, like, how much do you think the internet is going to bridge that gap of having or bringing knowledge down to people that don't normally have access to it? And my first was like, well, it's always like the internet's been there as long as we've been around. But I think it's getting better and better. Everything's on YouTube now. I just fixed my dishwasher last night based on a YouTube video. And I'm getting better at finding the right YouTube video and learning from it. I wonder if that advantage is about to diminish.
I would definitely be on the side as it will start to diminish. Because, I mean, that's a big gap. If you think before you couldn't really practice like a pro unless you knew a pro to get the practice plan,
Yeah.
And then like, I don't know, you probably get a lot of bad advice, but like when you are on the internet and you do see these tips and stuff, I never realized how deep the technical aspect of the NBA was with how they do offense and matchups and stuff like that. But then also like I think his videos, you'll see a lot of his videos where he's like explaining a move and then you have to have the counter to the counter to your crossover and then the counter to that. And it's like if these are what these guys are training with and have in mind. I had none of that.
Yeah, the becoming a professional athlete has definitely gone up a league since in this generation, I think, right? With the online training, with the camps, with the one-on-one attention, with the gyms. I just think there's a lot of things that have turned into like pro athlete factories. Sorry, Kenna came in.
Right.
Did you like the part where he was talking about the pro practice? He was saying like I wasn't warmed up and I'm getting old now, so I don't like that. Like 35 is too old to just hop on a basketball court. What is this guy?
Dude, he's played with NBA players.
Yeah, but he's gonna pull a hammy. He's a professional trainer.
I guess. I mean, you would like to think that as a professional trainer you'd be invincible. But when you're playing this 1 foot game at the highest level in the world, maybe you need a warm up, Dukes. Maybe not everyone.
I couldn't stand that whole story. That whole story just
triathlon.
that whole story rubbed me the wrong way. And I did run a triathlon without warming up. Not a full one. I almost drowned, but
Yeah.
it was fine.
Do you think you could have been more prepared?
Yeah, but I didn't bitch about it on my podcast. This guy, I'm telling you, he's bad vibes. Should we watch one of his cringy YouTube videos right now?
If you can share it, yeah, go for it.
Let's do let's see. Shorts. Yeah. Oh yeah, we got some good ones here.
Can you share?
Yeah. Let me
Okay, this is a bad.
This is literally the first one.
High quality videos, dude.
This is the first video, by the way. I didn't cherry pick this one.
This is like obviously a joke.
No, it's not. He has a million of these.
Dude, this is obviously like not his serious content.
All right. We'll pick another one. Ready? You just cooked an 8-year-old. Oh.
Dude, I mean, he's not trying to brag about his skills in this video, bro.
That's fun.
Whatever.
I'm not trying to. I am hating. There's no doubt about it. I'm hating. But like, dude, something about this guy. He's something else. You got anything else?
No. You don't want to carry my conversations. No. I think you don't like him because you think you're smarter than him.
Maybe. I don't think so, but maybe. He just like he's on Instagram trying to get little kids to think he's cool.
Well, I will say, I think if you were working with NBA players, I think a lot of them, that's their vocabulary of like the talking like a teenager.
Like a 12-year-old kid in AAU camp. Like this popcorn is busting, bruh.
He didn't ever say cool.
He talked about competitive juices for like 30 minutes.
Hey,
It's
man.
like there's certain topics like I don't know, like flow state and competitive juices. You can't get sciencey about it. You can't. Both of those things, they're not. There's certain. I don't know. There's certain things that science isn't the best thing at explaining.
That's crazy to hear you say that, but I mean, I think it's very unique to the person, and maybe that's why you're saying science can't explain it. But there's definitely like, hey, like, how are we, like, there's this thing that's flow state. Like, how do we understand it? So why wouldn't you try to understand it?
Saying that flow state is a rush of adrenaline, dopamine, whatever else he said, it doesn't help you understand it, right? Yes, there's certain chemical concoctions going on in your brain that trigger it, but flow state's one of those things that's just better explained by experiencing it. Like you and I know what it is because we've competed our whole lives.
But I think he was just saying that, hey, if you are in a very competitive state, you're more likely to get into flow state.
I thought his point was the opposite. If you're in competitive states the whole time, you're draining your competitive juices, whatever that means, and you don't reach flow state.
Yeah, if you're not competitive, you're less likely to get into flow state. And I don't know what you did in high school, but we were playing 6 games a weekend. That's a lot of freaking basketball.
Yeah. I did AAU, but it was like You did the 6 games a week and like maybe 6 times a summer.
Yeah.
I don't know how many tournaments you did each summer.
That's not like too crazy. But then like I don't know. I felt like there was definitely in my high school like so when I started freshman year, we were at the high school for probably we were so we did 2 hour freshman practice and then I was on JV. So JV practice with varsity. So we'd be at the we had 2 hour freshman, 2 hour JV varsity practice. And then I had football in the afternoon, so it'd be weightlifting and then a 2 hour practice. So I was at the school for 7 hours practicing.
In the summer?
Yeah. For like there was a month stint in the summer where all that overlapped. And I think that was just kind of stupid. That's too much. And then like that's the level where you start like being actually where you start to have to stretch and stuff, you know? But I wouldn't say that's too uncommon with high school.
Yeah, that's a lot.
And that's more like I think what he's getting into. And I'm sure he's he's working with top athletes, dudes, and these top
James Harden.
kids.
James Harden, known for his athleticism.
He looks slow, dude. If you listen to NBA players, that's one of the things they say about him, right? Is that he looks slow, but he's not.
They say he stops really fast. This has been fun. I like this. I like this a lot.
Huh. That's good. I'm glad you're liking it.
Any last things for this episode?
No, I think that's good. I guess.
All right.
I'll start with my takeaway. I think practicing on air, and I think that's very important for development for kids. Having fun practicing on air and having a mini hoop to do those to get those misses in and work around the rim.
I like the Kyrie quote. I'm definitely going to try to remember that and make sure Max understands that. Keep preaching it to him.
Yeah. All right. Well, hopefully that wasn't too much of a doozy. All right, we'll wrap it up then.
Yep.